review. Will the real Natalie please stand up? And this is going exactly how I thought it would. And it's your boy. It's the one, the icon, with another Marvel Disney Plus television review for you. Going over that IronHeart, and before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and or subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my other reviews. Check me out all over social media. Let's boost those watch time hours, and let's get started with a little IronHeart. So so basically, it picks up where the last episode left off. And in the last episode, like Riri had just woke up. Well, she woke up and then she saw that Natalie was there. So obviously she freaked out. The thing is, she's the AI for the suit. She's like the Friday or like the Jarvis, but again, the problem is when Riri was uploading her consciousness into the AI, so it could, like, her consciousness was basically supposed to serve as the AI. And she went to sleep, and while she was sleeping, she was dreaming about Natalie. So all the memories, all the emotions, everything that she feels about Natalie got uploaded into the AI instead. And now the computer basically created a Natalie AI. Because one of the things that she said when Natalie was there, Natalie was talking as though it wasn't an AI. She was talking as though she was actually Natalie. And then when Riri said to her, she was like, "You're not even real." Natalie didn't even react to that. Because if the AI actually thinks it's really Natalie, the moment Riri said, "You're not even real," she would have been freaking out. She'd be like, "What do you mean I'm not real? Like, of course I'm real." But she was just like, eh. So now I'm confused. I'm like, does the AI know it's an AI? And then she was saying things because she was just like, yeah, she was like, like, I'm the AI. She used the word Natalie as an acronym, and she's like, "I'm here to help you and assist you." So I'm like, so you're an AI. So it's weird because it's a weird blend of the AI knowing it's an AI, but also thinking it's Natalie at the same time. There was even a moment where, like, it was going through, like, the AI was going through her computer and was looking at pictures of herself so she knows what she looks like. And then she was trying to, like, find information about, like, her life and everything. So it's weird. I honestly wish they would have picked one. I wish they would have, like, either let it be an AI that just happens to look like Natalie, but then let the AI do some investigating and find out that Natalie was a real person and learn about Natalie's drama, or just have the AI actually think it's Natalie and doesn't know it's an AI. I feel like I should have picked either one, but instead you tried to blend both together, and it was, like, very confusing at first. The AI even made itself visible to the mother, and the mother accepted that way too quickly, and the two of them just started conversating, and now she's just like, oh my God, Natalie's back, in AI form, and Riri did a great job. She even asked Riri, she was like, could you bring, like, the dude back, the stepfather, her ex, bring the stepfather back, but she was just like, nah, because I don't even know how I brought Natalie back. Because she hasn't figured out yet, that she was dreaming about her when she was trying to upload the brain information. So anyway, so now Riri has to go pull a job now with Parker in the gang, but she's still trying to get the suit fixed. Natalie ended up finding somebody who would have because she was, like, searching through the internet, so she can find the necessary parts that she needs to fix her Iron Man suit. She goes to the person's house. It's a white dude named Joe. It's a white dude named Joe. He lives in suburbia, like, white neighborhood, like, all that. And this is the part that got very confusing to me because first of all, Riri, I don't understand why she brought the suit with her, but then, I mean, she did fix it in his, in his warehouse, so I guess, like, that did make sense, but the girl dragged the suit on the goddamn bus. She gets to Joe's house, and then when she gets to Joe's house, she basically tells Joe, you're gonna give me the part that I need, and Joe's like, okay, fine. And I'm just like, dude, first of all, she's a ghetto-ass black girl that just wandered into a rich white neighborhood. Why are you taking orders from her? That was not realistic. I'm like, all Joe had to do was just call the cops and be like, yo, there's some hood-ass black chick that's trying to, like, extort me for money. But the way they perceived Joe's basically a sniveling coward, and he just does what anybody tells him to do. But I'm like, still, that's not realistic. And the girl dragging an Iron Man suit all across, like, nobody said anything. I'm just like, nah. I'm like that Cubs flag that you put over it, I'm like, that doesn't hide anything. And then she shows Joe the suit, and then Joe just drives her to his warehouse and just gives her the parts that she needs to fix the suit. Joe apparently, because of his dad, he collects technology, but for some reason, although he collects technology, he doesn't actually actually use technology. While the two of them were conversating and Riri was trying to get him to open up a little and talk about his life or whatever, he, like I said, he was spilling his beans. He was just like, my dad, the tech and everything. She was like, oh, why don't you touch it? He was like, I'm afraid to touch tech. It turned like this whole big thing. But then she was trying to tell him, she was like, yo, you need to be a man. She's like, you need to stop being a bitch. And she's like, you got to stand up for yourself. She was like, don't stand up to me because I need this part. But she said, you got to start standing up to other people because he said that he gets extorted all the time. His neighbor treats him like shit. And she was basically trying to put some respect on his name. So so he ended up getting the suit fixed. She gave him the pep talk about being a man. And then she got in the suit and she dipped. So she goes and has a meeting with Parker's crew. This is where we get to the point where they give us a short backstory, Suicide Squad style. They give us a short backstory on every member of the crew. I legitimately didn't care. When they were going through everyone's individual I honestly didn't care. The only one that slightly raised an eyebrow was the black girl who set her husband's car on fire. I'm just like, I actually need to know more about that. Like, that was just, because the other ones, like I don't know if they're sisters or whatever, like the two chicks that were fighting in prison, that was one thing. The other person with the fingernails being a hacker, I'm like, that made sense, but I was like, the black chick, with the husband, and I'm like, so that didn't really make sense to me. And if I'm being honest, the actress who's playing that character, the black girl with the nose ring or whatever, the actress who's playing that character, I'm like, she could have been IronHeart. And I totally would have believed it. But aside from that, so the gang's all there, and they're just like, we're doing a job. The job is, I guess, some white lady, or I don't know if she's white, Spanish, Russian, or whatever, but some racially ambiguous woman is in charge of this really billion-dollar company where they're building tunnels. Well, they're using tunnels that already existed in Chicago underground, and they're remodeling those tunnels to have safer transport so people can get from one place to another. For whatever reason, the Parker's crew had an issue with that because they even made a comment, like I think the black girl made a comment. She was like, oh, this woman is trying to get rich off of the backs of like the poor people. And I'm confused. I'm like, how is she taking advantage of like the less privileged? She's using tunnels that have been around for centuries that no one cared about, and she's actually restoring them for the benefit of society. I was like, I don't see what she's doing to like the poor people or like the less fortunate. Like, their reasoning for that was like extremely flawed, and it was weird that like nobody challenged that. So then they told him, they were just like, oh, they basically said they wanted to take control of her whole system and shut her whole system down. Parker has magic. I don't know if it's the cloak that he has, but Parker has access to magic. And because of the magic that he wields, he has veins growing all over his body, and he's able to like disappear and reappear and do some other weird shit. I was like, we're in Cloak and Dagger territory. But anyway, so the master plan was everybody was basically going to try to shut down her tunnel operation. So Riri gets in the suit. She goes down. She was supposed to plant a virus that was supposed to shut it down. But then when Natalie figured out how to tap into the suit so she could talk to her, she scared her when she popped up, and then she dropped the flash drive. Natalie ended up coming up with a different way for her to hack the system. They shut the system down, and then after they shut the system down, they're just like, yeah, we shut it down. Like, we did the right thing for community and for the common folk. And then Parker just goes to the woman, and he was like, yo, if you want us to turn the system back on, I need you to sign a portion of your company over to me and my associates so we can get paid. So I'm like, so this wasn't about actually like saving the community or the less fortunate. This was about them getting paid. And I guess Riri didn't see that part. She didn't see that part, but I mean, that's gotta come into question at some point about, and the thing is, but why would she not know that? You know what I'm saying? So if all of I mean, I don't think they would have access to her bank accounts, but maybe the woman is putting all the money in Parker's account, and then Parker just distributes the funds accordingly. But I was like the motivation behind that was weird, because you told them we're trying to shut her down because she's ruining the community, and then you just extorted her for like a percentage of her company. But anyway, and then I'm like, bro, you got magic powers. Like, why are you trying to extort people for cash? And like, you have magic powers. Like, you could fucking rob. Like, he just appeared in her car. He literally just like came out of nowhere, just appeared in her car. I'm like, bro, you could be robbing banks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be making some serious cash instead of extorting like random white women, trying to do good for the community. But anyway, so Riri comes outside, and then when she's there, Natalie is talking to her in AI form. That's how you get the actress like on the show. She's standing next to her. The hologram is standing next to her. Riri's in the Iron Man suit, and the two of them are having a conversation. A police officer shows up, pulls a gun on him, and then all of a sudden, Natalie just had a panic attack, which is fucked up for Riri because Natalie's kind of controlling the suit, and because she had a freak out because she had a panic attack, Riri couldn't operate the suit. And the reason why Natalie froze was because the actual Natalie, like the real Natalie, she died due to gun violence. So I guess when she saw the police officer pull a gun out, she, like I said, she just, because unfortunately the AI has access to Riri's memories of Natalie. One of those memories being the day that she died. So, when she saw the gun, she froze. The two of them talked about that a little bit later, and then she was like, we'll come back to that. Don't worry about that. But she was like, yo, while we were there, she's like, I was scanning Parker, and she was like, Parker's not right. There's something wrong about Parker. And then she was like, no shit. Like, I know there's something wrong with him, but she's like, I can't really worry about that right now. And then she was asking questions. She was asking the other black girl questions about Parker. And then his cousin was like, yo, stop asking questions. So then after that, so everybody basically paid. Riri went on a date, not date with that random dude. She goes home, she was talking to her mom and everything. And then after that, Parker, he was in his quarters, and then more veins were like popping up on his back and everything. And then he was, his cousin was just like, bro, I can't save you. And he was just like, just leave me be. And then finally, because at first the woman who was responsible for the tunnels and the car thing, I thought she was going to be like, as Jackie Chan said in Rush Hour with Chris Tucker, follow the rich white man, because like he said, like there's always a rich white man that's looking for his cut. I thought she was that person. I thought she was like the big corporate bad of the film, but she ended up just being like an innocent, person that got extorted. The show leads you to believe that Parker is like the big bad for the season because of his magical powers and everything. But all of a sudden, good old Joe, average Joe, he came out of his house the next day because his neighbor, she was being a bitch to him. And then he woke up the next day, decided to put some respect on his name, and he cut all the flowers that his neighbor had in her yard. So now for some reason, he has more confidence because he got that pep talk from Riri. And I feel like now Joe is going to be the big bad, because what's going to eventually end up happening, there's going to be a conflict between Parker and Riri. And then after Riri defeats Parker, Joe's going to show up on the scene because he's going to end up building some suit of armor out of all that tech and all that shit he was collecting throughout the course of time. And then Riri's going to have to take down Joe at some point. So Joe's most likely the end game, and I kind of do want to see the backstory of Parker, like where his power came from, and see if that ties into like anything else. But that was how the episode ended, with Parker and Joe basically planning world domination. Riri paid, and she chilling with the peoples. And thank you for tuning in. So, yeah, the ghetto combination of Riri and Natalie. I mean, it's because the episode's called "Will the Real Natalie Please Stand Up?" I mean, I like the dynamic between the two of them. I like her. I like the fact that the AI, and because again, like Tony had Jarvis, then he had Friday. I like the fact that she has like her own Jarvis, but it's like her best friend. I do like that. It's just it's awkward because the AI isn't being an AI version of her best friend. The AI is actually being her best friend, and she being ratchet as hell. So, and it's like, it's one thing, because like it's one thing if one of them is completely hood, but it's like both of y'all are hood, and it's like it's just too much ghetto. It's like sometimes it's funny, and then sometimes like I roll my eyes. But like I said, but so far so good. We're 2 episodes in, and there's interest there. Like there's interest now. Like I want to know what Joe about to do. Like I want to know what Parker about to do, and I'm actually into the Natalie thing. Like I want to get into more, because the AI is trying to learn as much about Natalie as it can. So I want to see where this goes. It's weird because everyone seems to be interesting so far except Riri. And I don't have a problem with Riri. I like Riri, but she's the only person where like nothing is happening. Like nothing with her specifically is everything's happening to like everyone else. But share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and let's continue to talk about it. So check out my previous review, my episode 1 review for IronHeart, and let me know what you think about episode 2 of IronHeart in the comment section down below. 1 more episode to go, and then we'll keep, I guess these come out like every Wednesday, so we'll review episode 4 next week, but I got episode 3 coming up, so check that out as well. And also check out my other videos, as well as my Brooklyn Comic-Con footage that I did a couple of weeks ago. So that was it, guys. So thank you for tuning in. And now that Natalie has stood up, we're going to find out which is the real one and which one isn't. But until then, take care, and we're out this.
That's my fool.